Round up what's happened in the festive fixtures. What a bumper Boxing Day bonanza. I mean, traditionally a second Christmas for football fans, and it did deliver some big results. Surprise results, including Fulham's win at Chelsea, including a point for Everton at Manchester City, Wolves beating Manchester United 2-0, and then Leicester taking the lead against Liverpool, but the Reds battling back to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League with still that one game in hand. A lead that tonight has been reduced a little bit, 6 points ahead of Arsenal, who leapfrog both Nottingham Forest and Chelsea and go into second on the Premier League table. The other of our double-header, Brighton versus Brentford, produced no goals. Confirming for you the Premier League standings, and bottom of the table there in the drop zone, second to last, is where Ipswich find themselves, 6 points clear of Southampton, but still 3 clear of that, getting out of that danger zone. Leicester City are in 18th. They are 2 clear of Ipswich. Ipswich have won only 2 games in 18 matches now, both of those incidentally on the road. Brentford in 11th, Tottenham 12th, West Ham 13th, and Manchester United on 22 points find themselves in 14th position. Top of the table, confirmation for you that Liverpool are 6 points clear at the top there. Arsenal, after 18 games played, have 36 points now and have moved into second, ahead of London rivals Chelsea, who lost to Fulham, and Nottingham Forest, who are one of the standout surprises of the season, in 4th place on 34 points. Brighton in 10th position. Well, that rounds out match week 8.
Kai, well done. Was that simply, in a way, just getting the job done tonight? That was essentially what mattered most.
Yeah, for sure. 3 points at home is nice. Tough opponent. It's hard to break them down. I still think they didn't have a proper chance, so we controlled the game quite well. Should have scored maybe 1 or 2 more goals. At the end, we're happy about the 3 points.
Is the frustration maybe first half with all the possession you didn't create more? Your lead maybe wasn't more.
Yeah, of course, but that's, I think the Premier League is so tough. Every team is tough to break down. They're strong sides, they fight for each other, and yeah, at the end, we're very proud for the win. You're
having to adapt, obviously, without Bukayo Saka now for a few weeks. So Leandro Trossard and his role in the first goal, the only goal.
Yeah, he's an amazing football player. It's fun to play with him. Yeah, and I saw him on the left-hand side, and he likes to take those 1v1 situations. So was a good goal.
And for you, 15 goals now in 30 games. You had to adapt your role as well tonight. So first half, second half, obviously with Jesus going off second half.
Yeah, but I'm used to it. And I like to play different roles sometimes. For me, it's fun wherever I play. I try to help the team, and that's what I try to do every game, and today was a different role than before.
And tonight, what have we learnt in terms of how you will have to adapt without Bukayo?
Yeah, of course, he's a massive player for us. He scored so many goals, so many assists, and everyone has to step up because we know he's important, but we are ready for the challenge. Martin was out for a couple of weeks, for a couple of months, and they are very important players to us, but we have to adapt.
Unbeaten at home this season, and it's been hard in some games. What sort of role have the fans played, and what will they play in terms of ensuring you stay in that title race here and maintaining that form?
Yeah, very big. They're massive for us. You know, home games are so important to us. We feel the energy. We feel that they support us. You know, every minute. Everyone is together in this. We are one football club. The fans, supporters, us players, the staff, and everyone has to raise the level to win games.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Win in 7 for Arsenal means they move up to second in the Premier League standings, moving ahead of Chelsea and Nottingham Forest as well. Not a vintage performance, but really, as he said, 3 points are all that matters.
Yeah, it was. They weren't at their best tonight, Arsenal, but they found a way to get it done. Probably should have had more goals and made it a little bit more comfortable. But I never really felt like they were in any real danger, really. Ipswich maybe second half could have committed more men forward and really caused them a problem. They didn't. And in the end, you look back 1-0, and that's probably a fair result in reflection of the game.
I feel like Arsenal this season, Manu, have been like this in this game, where it's really hard work scoring, and then you have other matches like the Crystal Palace one, where everything they seem to
up
touch
and down
to...
sometimes.
Yeah.
That shows you how competitive is this league. You know, it's very hard to win games in the Premier League, so I'm not surprised about that. You see what Everton did against Manchester City, and we all know that Manchester City, at the moment, they are not really good, you know. But again, I was a little bit scared at the end of the game, the last 15 minutes, because I've seen Ipswich, changing their mindset and trying. I think they thought they could do something at the end of the game to get a point from it. So when you don't kill the game, you have such big occasion to score and you don't do it, the opponent sometimes, they believe and they come back into the game.
Yeah, it was 1-0 in the 23rd minute, and it stayed 1-0, as you mentioned, so close. But let's look at the goal that ultimately won this game for Arsenal. It starts with Martinelli, and it goes all the way to the other wing, where Trossard is waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cross from Trossard there, putting it into the right area, and Kai Havertz finishes it well. But as I said, Arsenal at first were putting way too many of these crosses in, that deep. I mean, as I said, Ipswich Town, their 3 centre-halves are all 6'3+, so you were never going to score from a cross like that. But then when it does come out to Trossard here, he does really well. But Kai Havertz gets himself into that situation where he's between the full-back and the centre-back, and then he gets himself in there, and it's a really nice finish, Manu.
It's a really nice finish, but I think it's poor defending, poor communication between the last 2 defenders on the far post. I think he's kind of lucky, to get the ball, Kai Havertz, on this occasion.
And talk to me about the timing as well. He seems to wait just a little bit, stay on side, stay in the right position.
I love sometimes Kai Havertz, in this position, because he forgets him. He's like a ghost sometimes for defenders, He's not a typical striker, so sometimes his movements are great, because of that. And this is exactly what happened on this occasion.
Even with that goal there as well, when you look at it from an Ipswich defensive position, there's too many lazy legs at it. No one really sets themselves in their body position to go and clear it. You've got Wolfenden, who just tries to swing his right foot at it. Jacob Greaves goes with his left foot to try to hook it away, which is never going to happen. If they'd have got themselves back into shape maybe a second quicker, they could have gone on and headed it. They could have headed it away and cleared the ball. But the fact that they almost get sucked in by the movement of Arsenal, they all wave their legs at it, is a poor defensive goal for Ipswich to concede.
Yeah, it must be even more frustrating considering they were so defensively set up. They had so many numbers back. They were so disciplined, as we'd been saying at half-time.
Yeah, they were, and again, it was going to have to take something special or a bit of creative spark from Arsenal to kind of break them down, because they had so many men behind the ball. But that was always the fear. The longer the game went on, if it had stayed at 0-0, you'd go, Ipswich, fantastic. They've done really well. They've made it so difficult. Arsenal might have started to panic a little bit and maybe force the issue. The fact that Arsenal then score in that period, it's almost like, can Ipswich kind of flip out of that defensive mindset and go on the offensive? And they couldn't do that. And as I said, Arsenal were comfortable-ish, but I never really felt that they were in any real danger.
Yeah, just one
I think
goal.
in the first half, they used too many crosses, Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think it was over the top sometimes, and they try to cross all the time the ball, and they forget the way they used to play, great movement, great passing, in between lines.
Yeah, just the one goal in it. And we're going to look at some of the chances, because Arsenal did have plenty.
Oh, this
Yeah,
one.
is this the Gabriel?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but Gabriel, he has been the master in that position. The fact that he misses the target from there, I was shocked. I was shocked as anyone.
I think everyone was, to be honest with you, even Martinelli's reaction. But this shows that they had opportunities.
He had. And as we said, Ipswich defended very well. The goalkeeper as well. Odegaard made a great run inside, the penalty box. And he almost, scored that goal. And as well, Declan Rice. I think it was unlucky, but again, great defending.
Yeah, was that O'Shea's block?
It was O'Shea's block, and that's a nice strike there from Moreno, to be fair. He's done quite well since he's come into the team. Just tries to kind of sell it out that far post, and he probably doesn't get enough on it. But it's a really good save there from Muric.
Yeah, towards the end, you said it was comfortable-ish, but towards the end, Manu was in full panic mode. Let's just look
The last 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's look at the chance that Ipswich had pretty late on. Could have done something with it.
I was a little bit scared because they approached the last third of the pitch, and Arsenal were dropping, badly, defensively. And I thought, when you're leading the score only 1-0, everything can happen. And, you can slip on the floor. You can have a bad movement, something like that, bad communication. And all of a sudden you conceded a goal. So I was scared that probably on this strike that Kai Havertz was touching the ball with his hand. So a little bit nervous, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is Arsenal's form in the last 8, unbeaten. 5th win in 7 for them tonight. And just looking at some of those results, beating West Ham, beating Manchester United. And as I was saying to you, actually, there's some games where they've not scored, like Everton, scored just 1 goal, like Fulham, like Chelsea as well. And then West Ham is 5, Crystal Palace is 5 goals.
I don't know how to explain that. It's the beauty of the Premier League. And sometimes you have the feeling that, especially at home, when Arsenal, are unbeaten, since a long time now, and they used to beat every single team that come at the Emirates. So it was a hard game tonight. They were struggling to score and to take the advantage of so many occasions. But at the end, it's a clean sheet, it's 3 points, and they're second on the table.
Yeah, the main challenges to Liverpool, as it's, we're going to look at the challenge that Arsenal pose in just a second, but we want to get some post-match reactions from the Emirates Stadium, and for that, we're going to hear now from Calvin Phillips.
Well, Calvin, you kept it tight. You kept them at arm's length in the second half, certainly. In the end, did you feel you maybe should have got something from that?
It's difficult to say, really. I know Arsenal are a very good team. They had a lot of the ball. Well, created quite a few chances. But yeah, I thought to be fair, we turned the game around once we went 1-0 down. Especially in the second half, we created a few opportunities, but they just need that extra little bit of special play, probably at the end of a phase where we create a really good chance.
Yeah, I think the frustration is no shots on target, I think, for the first time this season for you.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's always difficult coming here. And I think once we went 1-0 down, we didn't really have much to lose, so we kind of in the second half just thought, if we can kind of force them into making mistakes and try and build on that, then we might create a few chances, but just not quite get the shot on target. And
exactly, you need that finishing touch. For you, first start, I think, since October. How do you think you did, and how do you feel about your game?
Did all right. I was blowing probably towards the end, but I've not played for quite a long time. But yeah, I felt like I did all right. It was nice to be back playing, and we've got a good group, good coach, and good staff at this club, and they keep us fit even when we're not playing. So yeah, I felt okay, and happy to be back on the pitch.
Yeah, and up against, of course, your old England colleague Declan Rice. What do you make of this Arsenal?
Yeah, really good team, really strong. I think obviously Liverpool are the standout team so far in the Premier League, but I think Arsenal are the ones that are going to probably come close towards the end, and yeah, they're a great team, they've got great players, and yeah, it was nice to play against them as well.
And what's the target for you, 2025? A new year dawns. We know the levels you can reach. What target, if any, have you set yourself?
Just to play as many games as possible. Obviously I had a long time without playing many games, and I'm always at my best when I'm playing week in, week out, and
that would have been tough.
Yeah, it would have been.
Not playing.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's football. When you join a team like Manchester City and you train with the best players in the world every single day, you kind of, it's kind of tough when you're not involved, but you just have to stay strong. And I've come here and I've got a coach that believes in me and gives me the trust that I probably need to go out and perform. And I think for me it's just about playing as many games as possible and getting as fit as possible, and hopefully the good touches and the hard work will come.
Good to see you out there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
First start since November the 2nd for Calvin Phillips. Ipswich still second from bottom in the Premier League standings. Interesting to hear him talking about not playing regularly and how tough that's been for him.
He has been. He's had a tough couple of years. He obviously had the big move to Manchester City, didn't work out. He was a regular in the England squad as well, played alongside Declan Rice, went to West Ham, didn't play again. And he's got to Ipswich and he's had a bit of a stop-start season as well. He's had the injuries, his lack of form, and I thought he did okay tonight. I thought if you look back at his performance, I thought he did all right. He tried to break up things, got around the pitch quite well, used the ball, I thought, relatively well as well. But they're going to need him, Ipswich. They're going to need. He's probably one of the only players in that squad that's got Premier League experience. He's played at the top level. But unfortunately, with players like Gutstead and Sam Moores, who was suspended, these two guys have played really well for Ipswich, so he's going to have to bide his time. But I think he'll look back at that performance tonight and go, I did okay.
Yeah.
They are facing a big battle to stay in this league, though.
Especially, I think, if you want to save your skin, it's first of all, you have to win games at home. That's the most difficult task, for every single team, and this is probably the biggest problem for Ipswich.
Do you know what? They have left a lot of points on the table. That's been the problem for Ipswich this season. You look at when they play Brentford, they go 2-0 up. It ends up being 2-2, and they lose that game 90+4, I think it is. They play Leicester 90+4. I mean, I think Bournemouth was another one they're winning 90+5. They've had opportunities there to win games, but maybe it's experience, that lack of Premier League experience. They just haven't got it over the line. But I still believe that Ipswich Town could stay in this division 100%.
Yeah, and
Well, you knew it was going to be hard, obviously, having gone a goal down, but then sort of forced your way back territorially in the second half. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, I think it was a difficult first 20 minutes. We got pinned in by a good side. They didn't have a lot of chances, but they had all the territory. We still need to defend the goal better because we had the bodies there to defend it. But after that, we grew into the game well. To be honest, we managed to turn a little bit of momentum before the first half, and then in the second half, we managed to make a much more even game, and we got to some really good positions, and we just didn't have the quality to go and turn really good positions into really good chances.
Yeah, a really good chance after 20 seconds.
Yeah, I've not seen that one back, but that was. We didn't have much in the first half, but in the second half, I say we got to good positions throughout the second half, and we just weren't quite able to turn it into a big chance.
Yeah, is that mentality as well? Is that a little bit maybe of almost trying too hard?
No, I don't think necessarily mentality. I think there was a few situations late in the game where we could have showed a little bit more belief to really go and take it on, to take the 1v1 on, to drive at them into the box, and we were just a little bit hesitant. So look, I think from where we were after 20 minutes in their stadium with a fresh Arsenal and a very good side to where we had the game on 89 minutes, I think the players can take a lot of credit and a lot of confidence from that.
I was going to say, what does this give you potentially for the other games maybe where you will be expected to get more from? And what does it give the players in confidence terms?
Yeah, I think it was important that we had a night that we were solid. To be honest, after our last game was the first one in a long time really that we got opened up in, so we needed to be solid tonight and feel that we can be compact as a team and work and defend together, which we've done many times this year, but we needed to feel that tonight. So we'll take confidence from that, and then again, I think the way that we turned the momentum in the second half and got the game to a good position for ourselves late in the game, to do that away at Arsenal with a situation of where they are and where we are, I think is something that we can take confidence from.
And Calvin Phillips, talking to him, he was very pleased to play and to get through the game. It's been hard for him. Can he be a key figure for you as you build this season and obviously intend to stay in the division?
Yeah, let's hope so. He had a good run of games in the earlier part of the season after arriving late, and then he's had his injury for a few weeks and sort of been building his way up. But I thought he'd done well tonight, and to be fair to Luke Wolfenden as well, players coming in the team who haven't played a lot lately, and they acquitted themselves really, really well.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.
Talked about those chances late on for Ipswich, but what about in the very first minute of the first half and second half?
Exactly, yeah. Start of each half was a little bit sloppy from the Gunners, and they could have received a kick, in the head. Because, you can be surprised by the opponent, the first minute of each half. So this is exactly what happened. But, obviously for the Gunners, Ipswich didn't have the quality, to hurt them.
They might catch some teams out with that. They've got some big games coming up, some tough ones as well, as every game is in the Premier League. Let's look at what's coming up for Ipswich. I know they face a couple of teams in the top half, including Chelsea, and that's coming up on Sunday. Another London matchup against Fulham. There's Manchester City, Liverpool in there as well, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Manchester United. That's going all the way up to March with Crystal Palace. Difficult.
Headache.
They have got some tough games, but it's getting to the time now where we're getting past the Christmas period, and you've got to just take what you can get now. You've got to be picking up points, and yes, the run's going to be difficult. Chelsea, Fulham's in there. But it was almost a welcome to the Premier League this season anyway. They played Liverpool and Manchester City their first two games. So they would have understood that going into this Premier League season after two games, they were probably going to have no points. But I think they've shown more than enough against the likes of City, Liverpool, which played Aston Villa, Arsenal this evening, that they can get points in this league. As I said, I gave an example earlier about some of the games that they've dropped points in when they probably shouldn't have done. I think they've got more than enough, but they've got to keep believing. The fans have been fantastic. They'll stay with the team, but the players on the pitch as well, because Kieran will keep believing, the manager. The players have got to believe on that pitch that they can get something from every single one of those games. It'll be difficult, but it's getting to that time there where they've got to do that.
Yeah, no points for Ipswich tonight. All three of them stay in North London because Arsenal have won this encounter 1-0. It is their fifth win in 7 in the Premier League. Let's hear the thoughts of their manager now. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, was that closer than it should have been?
It was what it was, It was, in the first half especially, super dominant. We generated some good chances, don't concede anything. Probably we should have scored another one. To be different, we started second half, obviously not great, giving the first ball away straight from the kickoff. And And then, yeah, credit to them. They are really well organized, really well coached. It's hard to break them down. We had 2-3 big chances again in the second half. But when you don't score the second one in this league, you know, the last few minutes, they start to put people forward and start to be very direct, fullbacks really high. And it's the feeling more than anything, because they didn't have any chances, but the feeling that, yeah, anything can happen still. And we hate it.
Is there a bit of satisfaction that you got over the line today, whereas the Everton game that was quite similar, where you dominated and it finished 0-0, but today you got that win?
Yes, obviously, and scoring the goal obviously changes. They had a bit more aggressive behaviour and open up a lot of space in the second half. But yeah, and we saw the game. As soon as you have to defend your box, then we have to play in the final third and play that game just to allow the time and the time go. We did really well. So, you know, in this period, so hard to win. You see it with the other position. So another good step.
No Saka, we know he's going to be out for a while. How do you think the players stepped up? We know that Martinelli played on that side of the pitch, but you wanted everyone to sort of chip in.
Yeah, it's very good. It will be different. It was different. We had moments first half, better moments in the second half as well. Obviously, it's a unit that is new, and it would take sometimes as well for us to understand better each other. But Gavi, I think, did some very good things in the game.
Up to second, 6 points away from Liverpool. I know it's not where you want to be right now. You want to be top, but it's not a bad position to attack from in the second half of the season?
Well, considering all the circumstances that we had this season, the amount of time that we had to play with 10 men, all the injuries that we had to be in the position that we are in all competitions, I think it's good, but it's not what we want. We want to be first.
Top man, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
So, Arsenal, are they the main challengers to Liverpool? Were they at in this title race?
You'd have to say so. Obviously got experience the last couple of seasons pushing Manchester City close. You fully expected probably if Manchester City were to have a kind of blip that Arsenal would be the team that would probably take over, but it hasn't been the case. Liverpool have been fantastic and rightly so. Yeah. But they've got to just keep pushing. Again, I've spoken about belief on the show enough. Arsenal have got to keep believing. They've still loads of points to play for. Liverpool, at some point, you'd expect to have a blip, but Arsenal can't use that as an excuse. They've just got to keep winning their games, picking up points, and then hopefully they can push them all the way. Yeah, just hearing him say that it's so difficult to win in this period. He'll remember what happened last year. Probably got a little bit of trauma from it. So he was saying he's just happy to be there at this point in time, considering everything that's happened to them this season.
Of course. You know, it's a long way to go, the Premier League. So we are just crossing, you know, the Christmas time now. And we know how difficult it is in this period, the amount of games, you know, tiredness of the players. So I'm very happy so far with his work since he came to Arsenal. And obviously, 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool has a game in hand. So against Everton, I think, if I remember well, a derby. So you never know, you know. Look what happened to Manchester City 7 weeks ago. They were first in the table. Yeah. Now they dropped 7. This is exactly what Arne Slot, you know, said to his players before the game yesterday. Remember what happened. It happens very quickly in football. So believe in yourself. You never know what's going on.
Yeah, let's look at what's coming up for Arsenal. They play next on New Year's Day, and that's a late kick-off and a London derby at Brentford. And then a couple of difficult games. Every game is difficult, of course. The FA Cup game against Manchester United is one that stands out on the 12th of Jan. There's a midweek North London derby as well. And they also have Champions League to focus on. Yeah, there's a lot of games, fixture pile up, but Arsenal, again, you look at those fixtures, yes, there's some good sides in there, but there's no one in there you'd probably say, yeah, Arsenal, they should beat Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal in this form, I know the Saka situation may long-term may hurt Arsenal, but they've got to look at all those fixtures and feel like they can win absolutely every single one of them. Maybe they can sign players, you know, during the transfer windows. This is the big question, yeah. It's very hard, as Guardiola said, you know, to get top players at this moment, you know, but you never know. There is some players available, actually, so outside, you know, England, so maybe, why not? Well, I think for them, the priority, certainly from all the analysis that's been done, has to be someone up front, a striker. Who would you get? Someone up front, but I think quality players, because when I look at the squad at Liverpool, they look so strong, you know, especially up front. They have so many talents, so many options, you know, and the spine of the team has been playing for ages, you know, all together, and they look so happy to play, you know, the joy they bring on the pitch. I watched the game against, when they were conceding the first goal and they won the game 3-1. It was lovely to watch them, you know, the joy they have, you know, all together on the pitch, and the link between the players. But as well, when you look at the squad, you look at the bench,
for me, there is a difference with Arsenal, actually.
Yeah, Benty, is there a specific kind of centre forward that they need? Do you think?
Well, I think that's what's going to be the problem, is what centre forward you get. Like everyone likes Isaac. He seems to be the natural fit. I can't see Newcastle getting him from. They're not going to get him from Newcastle. So I think now all of a sudden you're looking around thinking who's going to be perfect. So you might have to go and find someone that's maybe a little bit more versatile, that can play centre forward, can play left, can play right, just to add goals. But I think if you're quite narrow-minded and go, right, we want one centre forward for this position. I mean, how many is there out there? And how many of those type of centre forwards can you go and get realistically? Probably none of them. So that's where you have to be maybe a little bit more cuter in your scouting network, maybe have a look in different markets. But I don't think it's as simple as just going, Arsenal need a centre forward and that's it. I just think they need more options in that top 3 positions at the top end of the pitch.